That is the worst clip in the history of television.
The Holocaust isn't about race. It's about man's inhumanity to man.
Imagine this. Bill Maher and Whoopi Goldberg, two longtime voices in American pop culture, both icons in their own way, suddenly find themselves in a feud. And this isn't just a friendly disagreement. No, this feels like the gloves are off. Now, these two were never best friends, but there was always a sense of mutual respect, at least on the surface. But lately, that respect is cracked wide open, and what's spilling out is pure drama, and not the silly reality show kind. I'm talking about a raw ideological clash, public shade, and a loud reminder that in today's America, even long-standing friendships can collapse in the cultural battlefield. So, what started this blow-up? Well, buckle in, because it's juicier than you might expect. It all began when Arnold Schwarzenegger, yes, that Arnold, the Governator himself, appeared on The View. Arnold knows all about the immigrant journey. He came to America with almost nothing but a dream, and as Bill Maher once joked, maybe just a jar of protein powder.
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
A lifelong ambition to actually be a guest on The View. They'll never have me on, of course, because it would go horribly.
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
No.
In the sense that,
No.
you know
In a sense.
what I mean? Like, but I'm saying
There's more jobs to be
in LA, they always...
And look at him now. Hollywood royalty, a former governor, a global figure. So when Arnold said immigrants should behave like guests, it was classic Schwarzenegger, direct, unapologetic, and to many people, just plain common sense. But Whoopi didn't see it that way. To her, Arnold's comment wasn't only blunt, it was insulting and dismissive of immigrant communities. And if you've ever watched The View, you know how this usually goes. That table isn't exactly a friendly space for opposing views. So when Arnold doubled down, Whoopi bristled. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Now here's where Bill Maher steps in. Instead of staying neutral or calming things down, Maher did what Maher always does. He leaned in. He publicly backed Arnold's point, saying it was fair, reasonable, and completely logical. For Whoopi, that was the final straw. It wasn't just disagreement anymore. In her eyes, Maher's support meant he was backing a worldview that disrespected immigrants. And to her, that wasn't just tone-deaf, it was hostile. What had been a shaky alliance suddenly looked like a full-on split.
I love that she's trying to make an anti-Trump argument. She's like, I can say anything I want. And she's like, I'm going to say something super racist. They're all like, yeah. Apparently her hair was not her only bad decision that day.
Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race. No, it's about
a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
But it's about white supremacy. It's about
but it's not about
ideal race.
But these are two white groups of people.
Home, you show respect. You don't trash the place, you don't break the rules, and you certainly don't act like the host owes you something. That's basic manners. Yet somehow, saying immigrants should act like respectful guests has become scandalous. Why? Because we're living in a time where common sense is treated like a crime. Maher understands that. That's why he didn't back down or sugarcoat anything. He just said, yeah, this makes sense. For Whoopi, though, that was unforgivable. But here's the twist. Bill Maher didn't call for Whoopi to be canceled. He didn't demand ABC fire her or send her into exile. In fact, he said the opposite. He defended her right to say whatever wild thing she wanted. Free speech, he argued, means protecting the right to be wrong, to make mistakes, to say things others might hate. That's the whole point.
The worst clip in the history of television. Ask the Nazis. The entire Holocaust was about race. all of it, which is why they didn't just pick on Jews who observed Judaism. They picked on anyone who had quote-unquote Jewish blood. The entire thing was about race.
What's worse is the way she tried to water it down to man's inhumanity to man.
It's about man's inhumanity
To exterminate the Jews, which has a thousands of year old history. And yes, it was rooted in race. And yes, anti-Semitism is different. And yes, you are a complete stupid idiot. My God.
Any of you men have any eggs or the possibility of carrying a fetus? How dare you talk about what a fetus wants? You have no idea.
And honestly, he's right. We don't need free speech when everyone agrees. We need it when someone says something unpopular. But this is exactly where Whoopi struggles. She has no problem voicing her views, but when others step outside her ideological bubble, suddenly it's dangerous, disrespectful, or grounds for cancellation. Just look at The View. That show isn't about balanced debate. It's an echo chamber packaged as political commentary. It's called The View, not The Views. Because let's face it, there's usually just one dominant opinion at that table. Anyone who disagrees gets drowned out by mockery, eye rolls, or smug dismissals.
Are you saying that some women can't be men and some men can't be women? Are you saying that unless you have eggs, you're not a woman? Is that what you're saying, Whoopi Goldberg? Also, if that is the new standard, how about women who are postmenopausal? Whoopi Goldberg, I can have an opinion on what a fetus would think because I was once a fetus. In fact, spoiler alert, all of us were once fetus. Every single one of us. I know this is crazy. And you know what I can pretty well guarantee? Fetuses don't like being stabbed in the face and sucked.
I grew up in a world where a woman who looks like me with my kind of skin and my kind of hair was never considered beautiful.
It's called The View. It's not called The Facts. And that right there is the problem in America. Too often, only one view gets pushed. Have you noticed how the so-called conservatives they bring on, like Alyssa Farah Griffin, are basically used as punching bags? The second they open their mouths, Sunny Hostin's glare could slice through them. It's not debate. It's a firing squad. And audiences are supposed to believe this is democracy in action?
So, do her words resonate?
Something comparing the U.S., Israel, Hamas, and the Taliban as all terrorist organizations.
Depends on who you talk to.
Right. Well, I mean, that's how they're recognized as.
Maher, on the other hand, thrives on debate. He doesn't want to silence Whoopi, even when he thinks she's completely wrong. And that's why this feud matters. It's not just two celebrities arguing. It's a snapshot of America's cultural divide. On one side, you've got people like Maher, who love him or hate him, defend open dialogue. On the other side, you've got people like Whoopi, who celebrate diversity until it means diversity of thought. Then suddenly, it's attack mode. The left talks about tolerance and inclusivity, but step outside their bubble and you're branded a villain, a bigot, or erased altogether. It's not about debate anymore. It's about control.
A lot of the English language has to be rethought. Blackmailing is negative. Black sheep, negative. I can think of a few others if I had the time, but those words are kind of like embedded in our psyches and maybe need to be changed. Why is a black sheep a bad thing and a white sheep is a good?
And remember, this drama is happening while immigration debates rage on, Kamala Harris's borders are era flopped, and Donald Trump keeps making gains with minority voters. You can laugh at Trump all you want, but the numbers don't lie. He's building support where Democrats thought they were untouchable. Instead of facing that reality, the View panel brushes it off as racism or misogyny. That's lazy. That's wrong.
I don't think that kids in this country are learning our history. They're not learning about slavery. They're not learning about Jim Crow. They don't understand the history of black Americans in this country. If they did, they would then understand white privilege better. So my suggestion is start teaching this stuff. It's deplorable, again, that word, that they do not learn history, period. I mean, people who are young, under 50, don't know who FDR was.
What is she talking about? We all learned in school about slavery and Jim Crow.
People don't vote out of abstract hatred. They vote for better jobs, safety, and a future for their families. If Democrats keep dismissing those real concerns as bigotry, they're going to lose even more ground. But of course, you'll never hear that on The View. Next voice, next voice. So where does this leave the Maher Whoopi feud? Honestly, it's bigger than them now. It's about what kind of public discussion we want in this country. Do we want echo chambers where dissent is silenced? Or do we want honest, messy, but real debate? Maher, whether you agree with him or not, is planting his flag on the side of open dialogue. He's saying, even if I think you're nuts, you still get to talk. Whoopi, on the other hand, seems stuck in the cancel culture mindset, ready to shame and exile anyone who steps off script. That's why this feud isn't going anywhere. It's not just personal, it's political, cultural, and a symbol of the free speech battle itself. But here's what makes it interesting. Despite the heat, Maher still calls Whoopi a friend. He doesn't want her silenced. He doesn't want her erased. He just wants her to accept that disagreement isn't the same thing as erasure. And in today's climate, that's a powerful stance.
Moved further to the right than Democrats have to the left. There's a Pew Research Center analysis that finds that on average, Democrats and Republicans are farther apart ideologically today than at any time in the past 50 years. And that ideological divide breaks down to the Republican Party being an extremist party and the Democratic Party actually, as you just mentioned, Sarah, moving more to the center.
What in the... what?
So let me throw this to you. Whose side are you on? Do you think Maher is right to defend free speech, even when it protects ideas you hate? Or do you agree with Whoopi that some things cross a line and shouldn't be tolerated? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share this video with someone who loves a good cultural clash. Because the Maher Whoopi showdown isn't just a celebrity spat. It's a reflection of one of America's biggest questions. Do we still believe in open dialogue, or are we letting outraged mobs decide who gets to speak? One thing's certain, the sparks are flying, and this fight is far from over.